It was a cold evening on the outskirts of the city, the kind of evening where the wind carries the scent of rain and loneliness. A group of bikers roared down the highway, their engines growling like thunder. They weren't troublemakers, not this time. They called themselves the Road Brothers, a group of men who rode together every Sunday, not for speed or show, but to escape the noise of life that never seemed to stop. That night, however, their ride would lead them somewhere none of them would ever forget. As they slowed down near a broken roadside tea stall, one of the bikers, a tall man with a leather jacket and tired eyes named Rafik, pointed toward the faint glow of a flickering bulb. Beneath it sat two small children huddled together beside a rusty milk can. Their clothes were tattered, their faces pale, and their eyes, oh, their eyes, held a kind of sadness that could silence even the loudest heart. The bikers parked, engines cutting off one by one, until the silence of the night was filled only by the crackle of the wind and the faint chirping of crickets. Rafik walked closer, removing his helmet. "Hey kids," he said gently, "it's cold. What are you doing out here?" The little boy, maybe 10 or 11, looked up, his small hand wrapped protectively around his younger sister, who couldn't have been more than 6. "Waiting, sir," he whispered, "for Amma. Right after the hook, before we dive deeper into what happened next, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to Kindness Universe, where real stories of humanity remind us that compassion still exists in this world." Rafik crouched down beside them. "Waiting for your mother, huh? Where is she?" The boy hesitated, glancing at his sister before answering. "She went to get milk, sir, but she didn't come back." Rafik's brows furrowed. "How long ago?" The boy's lips trembled. "Since yesterday." The group fell silent. "Yesterday?" repeated Rafik. "You've been here since then?" The boy nodded slowly. His sister's head drooped against his shoulder, her small frame shivering. "She said she would bring milk for my sister. She's sick. She keeps crying because her stomach hurts." The men exchanged uneasy glances. The stall behind them was empty, just an overturned chair and a cold kettle. It was clear the place had been abandoned for a long time. Rafik took off his jacket and draped it around the children. "Come on," he said softly. "You can't sit here like this. Let's take you somewhere warm." But the boy shook his head stubbornly. "No, sir. Amma said to wait here. If we go, she won't find us." Something inside Rafik cracked. He could tell this wasn't simple disobedience, it was faith. The blind, innocent faith of a child who still believed his mother was coming back. They brought the children to a small roadside dhaba a few miles ahead. The cook, an old man with a kind face, immediately prepared some hot tea and bread. The bikers gathered around as the children ate quietly. "What's your name, champ?" one of the bikers asked, trying to lighten the mood. "Ayan," the boy said softly, "and this is my sister Zara." Rafik smiled faintly. "Pretty names. So where do you live?" Ayan pointed toward the fields beyond the road. "There, near the river, in the hut with the broken roof." The men glanced at each other. It was dangerous to leave kids like them out there. Rafik decided to take a few men and check the place out. When they reached the hut, the moonlight revealed the heartbreaking truth. The roof was indeed broken, the floor cracked, and inside lay a torn mattress, a few utensils, and a single framed photo, a woman holding 2 smiling children, but no sign of her. Until they looked behind the hut. There, near the old tree, lay a small heap of cloth, and beside it a milk can. Rafik's heart dropped as he rushed forward. The woman, their mother, was there, cold, still, gone. A faint note lay beneath her hand, written in trembling letters. "If someone finds my children, please tell them Amma tried. I wanted to bring milk, but I had no money left. Tell them to stay kind. Don't let hunger make them bitter." Rafik stood frozen, the paper shaking in his hand. His chest tightened, and before he realized it, his vision blurred. The rough, fearless biker who'd faced storms and street fights now stood there, weeping silently under the moonlight. When they returned, Ayan's eyes lit up, expecting to see his mother. But Rafik couldn't speak. His throat closed. He knelt beside Ayan, holding the boy's shoulders. "Son," he began, voice trembling, "your Amma, she's resting now, with God." Ayan didn't cry at first. He just stared blankly, then looked down at his sister. She was still clutching the empty cup of milk the cook had given her. "We don't need charity, sir," Ayan whispered, his voice barely audible. "Just milk." Amma said milk would make her better. That was the moment, the exact moment, the bikers broke down. One by one, those grown men, hardened by life, wiped their eyes, unable to hold back the flood. Rafik pulled Ayan close, wrapping his arms around both children as tears soaked his jacket. The next morning, the Road brothers did something they'd never done before. They canceled their rides. Instead, they started a campaign, Amma's Milk, to provide free milk and food to children from poor families across nearby villages. They fixed the children's house, replaced the broken roof, and made sure Ayan and Zara never had to wait alone again. The group visited every week, bringing toys, clothes, and stories. But more than that, they brought love. News of the Bikers Act spread quickly. Soon, donations came pouring in from across the city. Local dairies volunteered to provide milk for free. Schools opened their doors to kids who'd never been inside one before. And every time Rafik visited the hut, he looked at the small framed photo on the wall, the same one he'd found beside their mother. He'd whisper quietly, "They're safe now, sister. You can rest." Months passed. The village that once echoed with hunger now echoed with laughter. Ayan had learned to ride a small bicycle. Zara's health improved and she began drawing pictures of a woman holding two children beneath a shining sun. One evening, as the bikers prepared for another charity run, Ayan ran up to Rafik, handing him a small envelope. Inside was a crumpled note written in uneven letters. "For milk, Uncle Rafik. When we grow up, we'll pay you back." Rafik smiled through his tears. "No, Ayan," he said, hugging him tight. "You already have, with your courage." For the final paragraph before we wrap up this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Universe, because every view, every comment, and every share helps spread kindness to those who need it most, and so the road that once echoed with the roar of engines became the road of compassion. Those bikers, once seekers of thrill, found a new purpose: to ride for the forgotten, to love the unloved, and to remind the world that sometimes the smallest voices carry the greatest strength. Because kindness doesn't need to be loud. Sometimes it begins with a whisper.